Welcome, one and all, friends and critics. Come on, you know who you are. Join me for the Brian Brawdy Show. Tired of being bulldozed by their BS? Well, there's some good news. You were born for the bumpy ride. So let's mortal up, bring your own bold, and go kick in some doors. You know, it's wild. I used to say, let's get ready. Or did I borrow that from someone? Let's get ready to rumble. But this just in, now that most of the state of Ohio is under lockdown, no bars, no restaurants, no schools. But what, thankfully, they haven't covered or closed yet Amazon making deliveries. So you might say, Brad, they look strangely like boxing gloves. No, these are the new gloves that I'm using. As you probably have seen the picture, I've got my face mask, my glasses, like a face shield, and now my boxing gloves. So if I don't know why I would go out, right? But if I go out the front door, I have my gloves and I'm ready. You know, I'm a pacifist. I have my gloves ready. Wait a minute, sorry. What did I do? A Joe Biden? I just walked off live camera? Okay, sorry. There you go. All right. Oh, I was looking at my phone when I walked off live camera. Okay, are we live streaming? Is this thing on? What do you have? Okay, breaking news. The aliens are here. Joe Biden is not. That is all. All right, good morning once again, and welcome to episode 460 some odd, 50 some odd, whatever the number is, tomato, right? Speaking of tomato, getting a lot of pushback online, as you probably know, if you follow me over at brianbrawdy.mortalup, which maybe you're watching the show there, or you're watching it up over at mortalup.com. We're getting some pushback. That's what I want to talk about a little bit today. We're getting some pushback because we continue to say the Wuhan virus, right? Like, I know the chancellor is going to call from Germany. What's her name? Merkel, I believe it is. Chancellor's going to call and say, could you stop saying German measles, please? Gives everybody a bad name. No more saying German measles. Does anyone really know, did the Spanish flu come? I don't know if it did. The Spanish flu come from anything that had anything to do with Spain or Spanish? I don't even know, really. All right, so what we're doing, Wayne, if you can, I can hear the audio in the background. I'm not sure if that's going out, but if there is any audio, please let me know. All right, just getting a text in saying that now schools in Ohio might be closed down. Just another reason why I say for Ohio, the acronym is, oh, how I'm out of here. Schools might be closed down for the entire year here and in preparation for whatever. I think over the weekend, we rose nationwide to 69 total deaths. And of course, our hearts go out to the people and the families that are left behind with those 69 folks. So to date, as predicted, we're still not at the levels that we were last year for the number of people, 5,100, number of people in this country that choked. While choked on eating chicken wings or whatever it is they were eating. They choked. 5,100 deaths nationwide. There wasn't a moratorium on food. We didn't shut down the drive-up windows of restaurants with anything, with a greater consistency than mush. But in any event, tomato, we're talking about the Wuhan virus. And that's what I wanted to focus a little bit on today. So, Wayne, let's go ahead, Q1, and let's jump right into one of my favorite segments.
Wait a minute. Huh? No, I really want to know, what am I missing?
All right, so as far as what am I missing today, our good friend Rachel Maddow, well, I know she doesn't know me, and I'm not a good friend of hers, so the person, Rachel Maddow, over to MSNBC, said, oh, this is clear, concise, it's perfect, and the graphic she put up had, tell your doctor if you've been to Wuhan. So I'm really confused, and maybe you could help me with it. Throw up a text in the post. Maybe you can help me with them and then just say, hey, you're allowed to say Wuhan virus. You're not allowed to say Wuhan. But in any event, in the graphic that Rachel Maddow was all worked up about, all excited about, right? The tingly feeling, a la Chris Matthews, the tingly feeling running down her leg, I'm assuming. This big graphic, and it said, tell your doctor if you've been to Wuhan. So are we allowed to say Wuhan? Are we not allowed to say Wuhan virus? If she's going on, and she's got her fingers on the pulse, the bellwether over at MSNBC, if she can put up a graphic saying, well, you got to tell your doctor if you've been to Wuhan. So if we're not allowed to use the Wuhan word anymore, should I go to my doctor and say, oh, well, I've been to the land of COVID-19? Is that the term we're supposed to use? The land of COVID-19. So that for our, what am I missing? I don't even know what to call it anymore. Is it COVID-19, coronavirus, Wu flu? Thank you for everyone that suggested in the thread that we call it Wu flu, right? One Wu flew over the cuckoo's nest. What? I can't even believe I got that sentence out, right? I can't. No, we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Oh, I just feel. Oh, we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. Right? So, which leads us, you know what, Wayne, let's go ahead and Q2 so I can get right into it when I get out of my mind. What am I missing for today? What do we call it? Wuhan, COVID, coronavirus. What do we call it? Go ahead and Q2 if you would, sir.
Lowlifes making headlines, or as we like to call it around here, brains that make your blood boil. Here's your brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine for today.
All right, so here's the thing. And Wayne cautions me all the time. He goes, you got to be a little more specific. Well, I was the other day. I said little Jimmy accosted, or whatever his name is, over at the Chinese news network. Little Jimmy accosted was all Twitter-pated, all upset about something. So we did a targeted one. But today, to kick off the week, oh, and I should also mention this fact, talking about kicking off the week today, if you're in the Columbus area, at noon, I'll be going over to the Red Cross in Gahanna, however it's pronounced, the Red Cross over at Gahanna to donate some blood for those people in need. So I'll be social distancing over to the Red Cross. If you're in the area and want to swing by, say hello, noon today at the Red Cross, and I'm bringing some little trinkets and whatnot, some little tasty treats that I'll be. If you come up and say, hey, I'm here to donate with you, if you donate and we're in line together, we're sharing that's a great question. Now that Anderson Cooper and some of the other rocket scientists over at the Chinese News Network, they were all excited last night. Well, did you notice the importance of the podiums during the debate? They were 6 feet apart, right? So Joe Biden, as I said, aliens here. Joe Biden isn't. Right, the podium set up in the debate. Well, they were 6 feet apart. That's very important. 6 feet apart. And I'm thinking to myself, now I know exactly why I'm social distance from CNN. Makes perfect sense to me. But in any event, if we go over today to donate blood at the Gahanna Red Cross to help folks out, are the booths, the tables that you sit on when you're getting ready to pump blood, are those things going to, maybe they're chairs now with armrests, who knows, but are they going to have to be 6 feet apart as well? Yes, thank you very much for the text. I am reminded, there's the gong. So are they supposed to be 6 feet apart as well? So that's one of the things. I'll report back tomorrow on that insanity and let you know what's going on. But if you're in the Columbus area and you want to join me today at noon, I'll be heading over to the address in Gahanna. I don't have the ad people ahead of the curve. Then I have a little something for you as well. All right, so for our lowlifes making headlines today, those people that just make your brains boil, right? That just, you're like, what? Are you kidding me? Here's the thing. Well, I think is Wuhan virus the super bug that's going to wipe out the planet? Absolutely not. Is there a super bug coming that will wipe out the planet? Absolutely so. Absolutely, unequivocally. So what can we use? What can we do now? What can we learn from all the hysteria going on? One, this isn't it. Two, there will be one. But here's what we've done. And I put up a blog post this morning if you get a chance to check it out. Oh, and the audio that goes with it, which is why we call it blog and blurb. For the people that are tired of reading blogs. Everyone's got a blog. Oh, I got to read that blog. Well, I record the audio for you right after I write it. So you don't have to read all my ramblings. You could listen to them, though. That would be pretty good. So here's the scoop. When you think of all of the different things that human beings are susceptible to, right? Our immune systems have done a great job of making sure we're on top of the game, right? It's just an amazing mechanism to defend our borders, our boundaries, if you will, right? Our skin, our immediate bubble. But what's troubling to me, and you hear it when you hear this argument about Wuhan virus. I told a friend of mine the other day, I couldn't care less what you call it. Couldn't care. I'd love to continue to argue with you, but I'm setting up a toilet paper stand out front of the house. The kids are trying to make a little bit of college money if colleges ever come back on. If we ever allowed to send our kids back off to college. So just before I went and set up the toilet paper stand, and we're trying to beat market prices, right? So we're a little bit less than everybody else hoarding toilet paper. You asshats. In any event, one of the things that has become really clear to me of late is that we're overly susceptible to germs, And we're overly susceptible to terms. So I did the little riff that said germs are terms, right? We're losing all of this, germs and terms, because you just can't say anything anymore without offending someone, the outrage junkies, all the rest of it, right? So what do you and I have to do? We got to mortal up. But what specifically can we do? Well, doctors now tell us, and for all the doctors in the world listening, for all the people pretending to be doctors, I saw a cartoon the other day that said, ooh, I didn't realize this. We had everyone online was a constitutional expert. Now that that Wuhan virus is here, they're all immunologists. And I said, well, look on the bright side. When the aliens, when we finally know that the aliens, when we're able to prove that the aliens have landed, we'll know right where to go to find all the budding astrophysicists, right? So that's good news. There's a silver lining to all this. But think about it for a second. We've overused both our physical and our psychological antibiotics, if you will, the antibacterials. And doctors the world over are saying now, you know what? This is what happens when we try to scrub our hands. This is what happens when we use antibacterial soaps. This is what will happen when we try to sanitize ourselves to such a degree. Our poor immune system never gets up off the mat. We're doing everything we can to sanitize our immediate surroundings and our philosophies, right? We can't hear anything. Oh, well, it's not politically correct to call it Wuhan virus. And what's happening is everyone has become overly susceptible, both physically and mentally, to whatever the virus du jour is. So what I was trying to suggest in this morning's post is that you and I need to eat a little dirt every now and then. You and I, according to doctors, we need to hear a little dirt every so often so that our immune systems get a chance to respond. It's like you call a paramedic, right? They come right over, they do whatever they need to do. You call the fire department, you call the police department, they come over and do what they do. Why is that? Because they train. Day in and day out, they train for whatever the emergency might be. Right? But we're not allowing our immune systems to train because, well, I was triggered. I was offended. I was mortified by your words. Right? So the social justice warriors, the thought police, everyone's saying, oh, you can't say that word. Your philosophical immune system doesn't get a chance to take that antigen in and figure out a more proper response. Now, when it comes to the Wuhan virus, COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, right? If our immune systems haven't had a chance to take some of that in, if we've been busy scrub with antibacterial soaps and lotions and Purells, I mean, countless studies have shown that infection rates actually go up when we over-sanitize. Why? Because our bodies are not adept at dealing with, Billy Shakespeare would have called it, the slings and arrows. Our body's not adept at dealing with it. But just because you believe it physically, everyone goes, well, we need to turn to the science. Okay, so let's turn to the science for a minute. Immunologists, world-class intellects all over the world. Not these little MDs running around the country, right? World-class immunologists. Maybe some of the MDs are smart enough to tell you this, but world-class minds are saying, yeah, you got to climb some trees. You got to scrape up your knees. You got to eat some dirt. You have to be exposed to some of these pathogens. Now, I'm not saying to go against the social distancing. It's too late now with Wuhan here. I'm not saying run out and lick doorknobs. I'm not saying run out and share the spork with people in line at McDonald's, right? People are going to send emails now. Oh, you can reach us at info@brianbrawdy.associates. Well, you made fun of Mexican people because you said Taco Bell. Like any of the food at Taco Bell is real Mexican food. But in any event, right? If we're not exposed to some of these pathogens, our poor immune system just gets beat up. Well, the same thing happens to our philosophical immune system, our psychological immune system. Same thing happens there. It's not prepared to do battle. It hasn't done its push-ups, its burpees, its mountain climbers, its lunges. It hasn't worked on its katas. It hasn't worked at defending itself. And it works for both germs and terms. And that's what I was trying to say this morning. We will all survive. We will mortal up if given the opportunity. But don't be in the position. Why be a carrier? Why water down human wherewithal by going, well, it just hurt my feelings to hear whatever. No, you allowed the words to hurt your feelings. So if you want to run around and go, I let your words in to slap me around like a graffiti artist that came in through an unlocked front door, then just say that. We talk about truthophobia. Everyone says, my words don't hurt you. Your ears hurt you. Your interpretations of my words are what hurt you. right? And that's what we need to be inoculated against. Germs and terms. That's where we are. All right, Wayne, let's get out. Let's get out of this one and cue what, because we've got a lot to talk about this morning in the Mortal Up segment. Let's go ahead and cue 3, I believe, if not 4.
It's time to tune out the herd, because everything you've ever needed, you've always had. So bring your own bold and let's go Mortal Up.
All right, as I said, my absolute favorite segment, Mortal Up, because that's in fact what you and I can do. Physically and philosophically, physically and psychologically, I guess would be a better way of putting it. You and I have the ability to mortal up. So now, we talk about, I'm going to run over at noon. If you get a chance to join me over at the Red Cross here in Gahanna, I almost said Illinois, Gahanna, Ohio. Remember, I told you, can't spell Brian without the I an idiot. You get a chance to run over here to Gahanna in Ohio, and I'll be there at noon donating blood to the Red Cross for people in need. And there's also, we're running around checking with our elderly neighbors to make sure that they don't need anything, that if they need to go to the grocery store, look, I could just say this, having been to the grocery store yesterday, if you're in the market for some shelving, head on over to Kroger. They got plenty of it. In any event, one of the things that we're so excited about, in addition to checking on our neighbors, in addition to, look, I'm doing my part to social distance. I never like to leave the house. I got to be honest with you. I got a sweet gig here, right? And then with the amnesia, everyone's like, oh, well, we can't afford to let Brian go very far. He might forget where he is. And then what would happen? Oh, be that were it true. But in any event, so as I said last night on Twitter, I wrote the book on social distancing. I just as soon stay away as long as I possibly could. I'm in. But that said, at Brian Brawdy Associates, we're doing what we can to help folks, to help our friends, to help our neighbors, and this and that, and to begin to watch out to each other. Because, as I said earlier, this is not the super bug that's going to wipe us out. So the silver lining for Wuhan virus is that you and I can learn what it is we need to do to be on top for when that super bug really does rear its ugly little microscopic head. So one of the other things we're doing, and I'm very excited about this because it takes us back, well, for me personally, it takes me back, what do you figure, Wayne, 40 years? Go ahead, Q5 if you would. So here's a picture of me as a youngin'. Yeah, and just a tad more hair than I have now. Here's a picture of me as a youngin' at a Methodist church giving my first ever public speech. And you might find it odd. It was, or you may not find it odd, a coincidence at least. I did the 23rd Psalm. I had memorized the 23rd Psalm, and the local preacher, guy I really love, Art Bloom. He's gone home since then, but Art Bloom, really great guy, gave me the open pulpit, and I should have known then, right, that giving me an open mic I was just never going to give it back. So I spoke and pontificated about, yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me, kind of thing. And that was my beginning of public speaking. So here's the only reason I bring it up, because I don't like a picture of me before and after hair. My youngest daughter said the other day, oh, well, when you get old, your hair goes away. When I said, yeah, that's probably true. And she said, well, is the back of your head not old? I go, what do you mean, baby? She goes, well, you have plenty of hair on the sides and the back, so it was only the top of your head old. Move along. Go watch Blue's Clues or whatever else we're doing over here. All right, so in any event, I put that picture up for a reason. Starting this coming Sunday, look, before you were a Dem, before you were a Repub, before you were progressive, a libertarian, an independent, before you were any of that, you were one of us. Before you listened to the priests or the pundits or the mullahs or the monks, you were one of us. So what we're going to do starting this Sunday, and I believe it's 11 a.m., let me check, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to start doing an all-natural being service, which is why I have the shirt on this morning. You remember, all-natural being. We're going to start doing a service. So if you're under lockdown, like I am here in Ohio, if you're a shut-in, if you can't get, because now I think it's illegal. I'll check for sure, but in some states it's illegal to go to church if you have more than 50 people there. Who knows how this is going to unwind? So what we're going to do is every Sunday morning, 11 a.m., we'll be broadcasting All Natural Being, right? It's not about, no collection plates, no hymns, no bowing, no genuflecting. Don't have to worry about any of that. Maybe some incense. I love the smell of incense down here. Might burn a little bit of that. But it's a blend of quantum Christianity, and I would have to put in some Mexican Taoist Buddhist philosophies, right? Because ever since my father's suicide all those years ago, I've done everything I could to study comparative religion, philosophy, psychology, the classics. And all natural being is putting that all together. And it is, just like you see in the backstop here in the studio, right? God breathing into the dirt. So whether you believed or whether you believe we walked off of the savannas of Africa, or we were evicted from the Garden of Eden. As you've probably heard me say before, Big Bang or Big Breath, the father or the field, priests or primates, whatever the division is that we've all grown so accustomed to, all natural being is going to be that middle path, right? Is going to be everything we were before we learned how to be divided as a people. So every Sunday morning until, well, now I was told this morning, I may have mentioned, I was told this morning that they're considering canceling schools in the state of Ohio for the rest of the year. 69 people dead so far throughout the entire country. 69 people have gone home, and that's enough to close schools for the rest of the year. In any event, we're going to be here every Sunday so that if you can't get to church, if you can't get out of the house, if you're under lockdown or house arrest or whatever it is, then we're going to be here every Sunday morning, 11 a.m., and we'll be doing what I've been doing my whole life, to be honest with you. And that is reminding people that, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me, right? That same breath, right? That same thing, whether you believe in the holy, H-O-L-Y spirit, or a more quantum scientific blend of the W-H-O-L-L-Y spirit, all natural being every Sunday morning is going to be there for people that just want to remember who they ultimately are, who they authentically are, before all the division, before all the media that tries to spin it so that we have to go to war with each other. So we'll be here every Sunday morning, 11 a.m., starting this coming Sunday. I don't know what the date would be, but just add a few days to today's the 16th, so do the math. But this Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, and then Wayne has set it up so it will rebroadcast top of the hour every hour till we cover 3 or 4 time zones. But if you can't get out and you're saying, you know what, I could still get a little bit. Brian's been doing it since he was this tall. The good folks at Brian Brawdy and Associates are doing what they can. I want to join in. Then please, all the details will be over the YouTube, going over to the YouTube. So you can go over to thebrianbrawdy.com, get all the details about it. We're going to be cutting some commercials today and running them across Facebook. So you know what you could do if you wanted to help a little bit? If you see one of those commercials and you like it and it doesn't, you're not outraged, you're not triggered, you're not offended, you're not any of those other things, could you maybe share some of those commercials around with your friends so that other people that really would like the ability to hang out on a Sunday morning, right, or in front of your own TV, will be doing that service, all natural being. And again, just a reminder as to who you truly are outside of all the media mashugana. Outside of all the craziness, outside of all the division, who are you when you mortal up? Who are you when you don't buy into the division between terms and germs? Stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I must have been out of the country for it. Somehow, names got added over to the other side of the ledger. So we're not going to buy into any of that. Sunday mornings, we're not going to be doing lowlifes making headlines. We're not going to be doing What Am I Missing? We're going to save a lot of our commentary for during the week, Monday through Friday. We'll be here at 10 a.m. Pretty soon we'll be going 1 hour and then 2 hours and then 3 hours when they figure out, exactly how long I can, believe me, I can blather on, but how long I can go, how long I can stand. I might pull a Joe Biden and start to ask for a chair. Don't need a peach crate, so I don't have to do the whole Michael Bloomberg thing, but we're going to be here Monday through Friday doing our normal show, the Brian Brawdy Show, the mortalup.com kind of stuff. But on Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, we'll be doing All Natural Being. And it's simply a suggestion to remember who you are, because you're already a badass. Outside of everyone trying to water down human wherewithal, outside of everyone telling you how thin-skinned you are, how perforated your persona is, how easy it is for you to be outraged because they want to skew your outlook. This show coming up on Sundays is going to be none of that. What we will do is make sure that together we remember who we ultimately are, that in fact we are a badass and that we can handle, right? You've probably heard me say over the years, you right now, you listening, you are the great grandchild of the divine, however, are the creation. You are that spark of the universe itself. And yes, is the Wuhan virus something we should probably try to avoid? Yeah, like I said, don't go out and lick any doorknobs. Don't go out, take a sip of your drink, and pass it around to strangers on the bus. Do we even have bus service? Are we even allowed to get on a bus anymore? So Sunday mornings, 11 a.m., don't want to keep kicking it around, but join us, please, starting this Sunday. And it's the whole show. What's the elevator pitch? What's the show about? Reminding you who you ultimately are. And that when you square your shoulders with fate, you can pull off literally anything. And that's what our show is going to be about. So I guess, Wayne, let's go ahead and, do we do mortalup.com already? Or do we do Low Life? Do we do the Mortal Up segment? I guess we could tie it all in together. But if you want any more information, come on over. We'll be at mortalup.com. The commercials will be running, I suspect, on Facebook, on Twitter, over on YouTube. But join us if you will. And it's like a booster shot to all the insanity, right? It's like what can we call it? An intellectual inoculation. So that you know that no matter what confronts you, you have the ability to square your shoulders and kick the crap out of it. I guess that would be it. So, right, if you're not busy, and I know people here aren't busy hoarding toilet paper, let all the hoarders run over and clean out the shelves. You and I will be hanging out Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern, and it will just be a reminder of everything you're capable of when you remember, right? No more philosophical amnesia when you remember who you ultimately are. All right, so let me also thank everyone that's left the comments, everyone that's talked about truthophobia, how everyone seems to be contrary to the truth. I want to thank you for all that, the people over on Twitter. Hey, if you're here on Facebook and you get a chance, come on over. I tend to do a little more on Twitter of late just because that's where all the asshats are, right? Who was that guy that they said, well, why do you rob banks? And he goes, well, that's where the money is. Why do you hang out on Twitter? Because that's where all the brittle brains atop balsa wood spines, that's where they all live. I get to Twitter every day. I got to tell you, I get there and go, I cannot believe they haven't blocked us yet. But there you go. So if you get a chance, head on over to Twitter and we'll be able to hang out and do a little bit of the discourse. Thank you for everyone that we're up all kinds of likes this week on Brian Brawdy, the Mortal Up page. So thank you so very much for that. And for all the people that I should just mention this, right, because they're welcome to the service as well on Sundays. But let me just mention for all the people that are all the time going, oh, well, all the people threatening me, all the people that want to kick my butt, all this and that. I will close with this. Go ask your mommy for her car keys. Take some of the toilet paper you've hoarded. Sell it on eBay, get some gas money, and come and find me. I live in the middle of the country. I cannot be that hard to find. But instead of standing behind your little camera, acting like a tough guy or a tough girl, right? Just borrow your mommy's car, get some gas from the Purell or whatever else you've hoarded, and come and find me. We'll be able to do this dance together. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all so very much from the bottom of my heart. Be safe. Don't lick doorknobs. Don't pick your nose. Wash your hands from time to time. If you get a chance to eat a little bit of dirt, like if food falls on the floor, don't make it a 3-second rule. Make it a 10-second rule. And I think you and I are going to do just great. Thank you so very much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, and of course this Sunday for all natural being. Thank you so very much. Be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.